Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the game room. So today we're going to do another of my Commander Deck series videos. So basically we're going to do one of the more popular tribes in Magic, or hated, depending on what you're going to do. So they basically haven't been any printed for a while. I mean, say this is one of the only creature types that basically is printed every so often. So it's slivers, people. And for people that bought this pre-con for Commander Masters and want to know how to upgrade it, and that you've come to the right place. So if this is your first time on the channel, please, not like 95% of my viewers haven't subscribed. So a like, a comment, and subscribe will be lovely, and will keep me doing these. As I say, I aim to do loads of these. I've got like 40 Commander decks to feature, so we're going to do that. I also am going to do. I might do some gameplay at some point. So that's this Sliver Precon, and if you want to know how to update it, you've come to the right place. Anyway, so basically before I say these, the Sliver Precon I got from the game shop in Aldershot, which was, say I paid the tag price on it. And when you said these Commander Masters Precons, people, are quite expensive, but though I do regard this one as being worth it. If you're after the Eldrazi one in particular, it's on the more expensive side. Anyway, so they also, before those people that don't know, they come with a little packet, which is this packet, which is a Commander Masters. So Commander Masters was a good fun set to play for draft and limited. I enjoyed it. It was aimed at those. Anyway, so I did really well. I'll show you what I pulled in a minute. For those, that's the Commander Masters. It came with this 2-card premium booster. I got an Arcane Signet in it, which is cool, and a Darksteel Monolith, which is this colourless thing, which is popular in Eldrazi. The pre-release was promo was this, and the best thing I pulled was Jeweled Lotus. Probably the best card I've pulled probably this year, maybe in the last couple of years, to be honest. Only to say quintessential Commander card. Anyway, we need to say that's enough about what I pulled in Commander Masters, and we're going to move on to today's feature presentation. So today's feature deck is going to be the Slivers. So this is Sliver Overlord. This is the commander I use. And you say people will be wondering why I don't use some of the other ones. But you say there's lots of options for slivers. Being the optimal one, because I see. So basically the slivers have got a various selection of 5-color commanders, and there are various options you can have. There's just say there's the one from the current one, but there's say why I use this one. So why I use this one is this one I feel is the best one. This one is a foil edition printing. So at the time, a long time ago, they printed this in a precon. There was a foil sliver precon. It's one of the early ones they did, and it's got most of the foils curl. But you might be able to pick that up, and that's basically will enable you to improve this deck. Anyway, so say this one is Sliver Overlord. So Sliver Overlord, the reason why I play it is because at worst it's 3 mana. Search your library for a sliver for 3 colors mana, and put it into your hand, basically. So it's like Cisse, other than it basically can only it tutors to hand, and then you have to pay mana. And it can also gain control of target sliver for 3 mana. You're playing that because you're playing the Amoeboid Changeling combo, because you can turn things into slivers and then gain control of them. This one is also played because you can generate infinite colourless mana quite easily, and then you can use it to go off, and you can play all your cards in your deck quintessentially. Anyway, that's Sliver Overlord, and that's the commander of the deck. So slivers have been in 3 sets. I know it's more than 3 sets. So they were originally printed at Tempest, and then they came back again, and then they were in Horizons once, and the latest one. They're not in the main set, though, the slivers in Commander Masters. They're only in the precon, but there's some good new ones, and we'll go through those now. So that's Sliver Overlord, the commander. I will show you the big ones as well. Okay, then we have the Sliver Queen. So this card is one of the most expensive cards in the deck. And don't worry, I don't think it's essential if you have it. It's quite expensive. It's over $250, maybe $300. I can't quite remember when I checked. Anyway, I'll link the Moxfield deck list in the description. And as always, people can check me out on Moxfield. And I'll also link basically what the rating for it on commandersalt.com is, which is a site that links, it tells you how salty your deck is, and it gives it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not very good and 10 being a CDH deck. So this is Sliver Queen, the most expensive card in the deck. Don't worry, I don't think it's essential in this deck. Anyway, so Sliver Queen is basically a 5-color sliver, and it's 2 mana to put a sliver token into play, which counts as a colorless sliver. I mean, you say they did new tokens for the slivers in the precon, so I'll show you the tokens for those that didn't get the precon and they're looking at them. So they did these nice little sliver tokens. They're also double-sided now, because they seem to be doing a lot of double-sided tokens. Right, that's this sliver tokens. Right, then we've got the first sliver. So this is was in the MH1, I believe. Anyway, so this is a 5-color sliver. So this basically means all your slivers have cascade. This also has cascade on it as well. So cascade basically means when you play your first spell, when you play a spell, you basically reveal cards from the top of your library and you hit something with less CMC. So if you play a 6-drop, you reveal cards from the top of your library and you get something for free, basically, that's cost 5 or less CMC. People can also play that as a commander if you feel like, but I don't think it's the right way to go. And then they've got this one, Sliver Overlord. So this one's very good. This is one of your first cards you probably tutor for. But as I say, in the early game, you're basically looking at getting a selection. You're basically looking at getting... you're building up your mana basis. You're basically trying to fix your colours because you're 5-color deck. So some of the things you're heavier in than others. I'll go into the land and that in a minute. So this is Sliver Overlord. This means all your creatures are indestructible. Oh, slivers, though, I should have explained this at the beginning. It's basically one of the quintessential things in slivers. Basically, slivers generally grant their abilities to all the slivers you control. It used to be slivers used to affect all slivers in the board. The newer ones are worded so that they only affect your slivers. But they always see there's some older slivers in this deck that will affect any slivers on the board, which are like if you're playing mirror matches, that's probably... something you should avoid. Anyway, when then we go on to the Sliver Legion. So this is basically like a coat of arms sliver. So this is they're all wobo to cast. It's all slivers get +1/+1 for each other sliver in play. Oh, it's from Future Sight. Same set as Tarmogoyf. And then this is the new toy. This is the new one. So this is Sliver Grave Mother. So this is a cool new card. So then this is basically the commander of the precon. So say the first text is the legend rule doesn't apply to slivers you control. This one's a 6/6. Is each sliver creature card in your graveyard has Encore, where X is its mana value. So Encore works is exile the card from your graveyard. For each opponent created token copy that attacks the opponent this turn, if able, they gain haste, sacrifice at end of next end step as a sorcery speed. Anyway, you need to say that's one of the cool cards. I'll be checking it out soon. I'll be going after a bit after this video to my FNM to check out the deck, and I will see how many other people, if any, are playing it. Right, so then we'll move on to the multicolored slivers. So the non-5-color ones. So we'll do the multicolored. So this is Necrotic Sliver. This is one white and a black for a 2/2. It's all slivers gain 3 sack this permanent, destroy target permanent. So it's a Vindicate on effect. Useful, very useful. Gets rid of enchantments, lands, artifacts, anything. Then Harmonic Sliver, 1 in green and white. It's all slivers have ETB when this creature enters the battlefield. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Useful. Then we have Cloud Shredder Sliver, and that was a nice little addition. So this gives slivers you control flying and haste, all on a 1/1 body, but it gives 2 effects. Whereas before you playing cards that only do one of these effects, and some of those cards are still in the deck. So this is a nice little addition. Then we have, to finish with in the multicolour section, we've got Crystalline Sliver. White and a blue. Some of the printings I'm using are the ones from the Sliver Precon, but from the old Sliver Precon rather than the new one. But you do get most of them in here. I'll try and point it out where they're not in the thing. And this gives all your slivers have Shroud. Right, that was the multicolored section for the slivers. So we'll move on to we'll start with the green stuff. So the green slivers, basically, the green slivers basically give a selection of abilities. Generally, they give you buff effects, and they can also generate mana as well. So that's the kind of thing. So we'll start with the bigger one. This is Megantic Sliver. So anyway, this is a 5 and a green. This is the promo one from the time M14, I believe, was the other time they did slivers. So this is a 3/3 and it's slivers you control get +3/+3. This is also in the precon, it just has different artwork. Now going Brood Sliver, so this is from the old Sliver thing. So for a green for a 3/3, it's whenever a Sliver deals combat damage to a player, its controller may put a 1/1 colour Sliver token onto the battlefield. Then we go more buffing slivers. So we got Might Sliver. So this is another one from the old Sliver precon. 4 and a green for a 2/2, and it's all Sliver creatures get +2/+2. It's worth bearing in mind it's all slivers. It affects itself, so it's effectively that's practically a 4/4 when it comes in. I mean, and then we have some anti-counter technology. So this is an original one. So it's just 3 and a green for a 2/2. It can't be countered, and sliver spells can't be countered. Because some of the ways that people try and stop the sliver onslaught is try and stop them resolving. That's the best way, or blow them up. Anyway, Fungus Sliver is 3 and a green for it's all sliver creatures have whenever this creature is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then we have Venom Sliver. So this is sliver creatures you control have Death Touch for 1 and green for a 1/1. Then we have another buff for 1. So this is Predatory Sliver. So 1 and a green. This is sliver creatures control +1/+1 on a 1/1. Then we have Quick Sliver. So it just gives your slivers flash. 1 and green for a any player may play slivers as though they had flashed, so that's one of the old worded ones. Then we have Gemma Sliver, so this is one of the best slivers in the deck, and it's basically good for getting your commander into play as early as possible. With a hand, you can potentially cast your commander on turn 3 with this, and that's what for all the coloured mana. And this basically can go infinite with various things later, so you can make infinite mana with this, and this enables you to get coloured mana. Then we've got another mana sliver, so it's basically the same one. Same thing as the early one, other than it's a later printing. So sliver creatures you control have a tap for mana of any colour on a 1/1. Then we've got Hatchery Sliver, so that was more. I think this is new. So this is 1 and green. It has Replicate. So whenever a spell you cast has Replicate, the Replicate spell is equal to its mana cost. So you can make multiple copies of things if you have a mana left over. Then we have Muscle Sliver. That was one of the old school ones. That was from, I think that was the original set. I think it's also played in like Pauper Slivers as well. Believe most of those were printed as common. Anyway, that's Muscle Sliver. It's all slivers get +1/+1. That was the green section. So we'll move on next to, we'll go to the red section. So the red section is primarily concerned with, it's more buff effects, and a lot of things give them a haste as well. So we'll start with Fury Sliver. So this is all slivers have double strike on a 3/3 body, 6 mana. Then we go Thorncaster Sliver. So this is for a red and a 2/2. I only need to say before I actually get any more into it, is to say if you don't have any of these slivers, then you say even the common and the uncommon ones. There are also these. There's a series of things that are called Changelings, which you can play instead of any of the stuff you don't have. The effect they have, though, they still count as a sliver. So if you don't have any of those, I suggest filling in with Changelings to fill the void. Anyway, this is what sliver creatures you can try and have. Whenever the creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. As you see, I've got a few Changelings in there. We'll go through the Changelings last anyway. And then you see this is Cleaving Sliver. So sliver creatures you control +2/+0. So it's like the old Bone Splitter kind of thing. Then we have one of the haste enablers, so Blur Sliver, also one of my favourite bands. Check out Blur, they did a new album recently. Homing Sliver, so this is a bit one more. I believe this is the only card with this ability on it. So this has Sliver Cycling. So Sliver Cycling is discard this card, search your library for a Sliver card, and it gives each Sliver in each player's hand Sliver Cycling. So it's like, it basically is a sliver. It's a tutor for slivers, basically. Then we've got Spiteful Sliver, so I'm using the original one. So this is sliver creatures you control have whenever the creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage target player or planeswalker. That is also in the precon. Right, so those are the red ones. We'll move on to we'll start with the black ones. So the black creatures, basically, mainly they give protection, actually, bizarrely, and some of them give lifelink as well, so they give various effects, and some other ones. So we've got Toxic Sliver. So this is whenever Sliver deals combat damage to a creature to destroy the creature, it can't be regenerated, so that gives them Death Touch. Then we've got one of the new ones. So this is Lazotep Sliver. So this is really weird. So it feels like a leftover from a previous, or a combination of two sets. So it feels like it would be at home in something like Amonkhet, because it's also a zombie as well. So bear in mind for those that are playing zombie decks as well. So it'd be quite good in that as well. So it's Sliver creatures control have Afflict too. So Afflict is basically an ability that originates from Amonkhet, and it's whenever a creature becomes blocked with Afflict, its defending player loses 2 life. It also has another ability, so whenever a non-token sliver you control dies, amass slivers 2. That's why they gave you the tokens in the precon. I'll be looking forward to trying that out. I haven't tried it yet. I'll be trying it later today. And this is Siphon Slivers. Slivers you control have lifelink. And the last black sliver is Crypt Sliver, and that's the original printing. So it's all slivers have tap to regenerate target sliver. It's a bit of protection if you feel like the board's going wiped or something. Okay, so now we're going to blue. So blue creatures or blue slivers are generally give your things evasion. They generally grant stuff like flying and stuff like that. Anyway, so we go on to wing sliver. It gives all slivers flying on a 1/1 body. Then we go diffusion sliver. So this is basically a proto shroud. So it's whenever a sliver you can. Oh no, it's ward. It's more like ward actually. It's whenever a sliver creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability, an opponent controls counter the spell or ability unless its controller pays 2. So it's basically like what ward is now. Then we go on to Gale Rider Sliver. So it's this sliver creatures you control have flying on a 1/1 body. It's a foil 1. I do like foils. I'm a whale anyway. And then we've got Psionic Sliver. So this is basically turns your slivers into like a Psionic Blast kind of style of effect. So this is 4 and a blue for a 2/2. It's all slivers have tap. The creature deals 2 damage to target creature or player and 3 damage to itself. But they're going to be quite big anyway. And this is a way to get around not being able to attack, for instance. So this is Synapse Sliver. I was going to say those people that don't know me. So I've been playing this deck for quite a while now. I've been playing it for way. I've been playing Commander for like 11 years. I had this one was in somewhere in the middle, so I've been playing it for like 6-7 years probably. I had the Queen when it was like 30-ish, and now it's quite expensive. Anyway, there we go. Anyway, this is Synapse Sliver, 4 blue for a 3/3, and it's whenever a sliver deals combat damage to a player, its controller may draw a card. The key is may draw a card, as you may not want to draw that many cards. It gives you the option. There's a new card that does something similar in the one. There's a red creature which basically exiles the card until the end of the turn, and you can play it, and that's not optional, whereas this one is optional, and this one enables you to draw the card rather than the other one which may exiles them and you can only play them until the end of the turn. So that one's a bit more flexible. If you've got the one in the precon, I'd just stick with that one if you don't have that one. Anyway, we're carrying on. So this is another one of the new ones. This is 3 and a blue for the 3/3. It's a sliver creature you control have Goad. So Goad reads is when this creature enters the battlefield, Goad target creature and opponent controls. So Goad reads until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you. So it enables you to basically make them to have unfavourable attacks or attack into something, or enable other people to finish attack people for lethal, and you can them not to have any blockers, and you can just clear up afterwards. Okay, so this one is one people have probably forgotten about, and I don't believe that this is in the precon, although I could be wrong because I've looked at it briefly. Anyway, it's 3 and a blue for its sliver creatures can't be blocked except by slivers. So unless you're playing with people that have like changelings, which are it's possible, this basically makes all your slivers unblockable, and it's very, very useful. It's one of the best ways to give your guys evasion. Then we finish with, in the blue department, we have Telekinetic Sliver. So this is basically like an opposition kind of style of effect. It's basically all slivers have tap target permanent. So you can tap people's commanders, you can tap their lands down if they don't have anything on the board, and all sorts of things. So this is a Telekinetic Sliver, 2 blue and a blue for a 2/2. Anyway, those are the blue slivers. Now we'll move on to the white slivers to finish off with, and then we'll go on to the spells and some other stuff. Right, so white slivers, they do buff effects in white. They also have some removal and some lifelink. Anyway, we'll move on to them. Okay, so this is and some protection as well, I think they do. So this is constricting slivers. So this is kind of like, it basically means all your slivers are O-rings effectively. So 5 and a white for a 3/3. It's sliver creatures you control have. When this creature enters battlefield, you may exile. Oh no, it's not an Oblivion Ring. It's more like the one that only does creatures. It turns them into like Fiend Hunter kind of. Yeah, it's more. It turns them more into Fiend Hunter is more the way to look at it. Then we've got some protection. This is Pulmonic Sliver. So it gives your slivers flying, but it also gives it's 3 a white and a white for the 3/3. And it also have, if this creature be put into a graveyard, you may put it on top of the owner's library instead. So it means your stuff can come back. So I don't actually think that if you're playing the Grave Mother as the commander, I don't feel that creature's that good, because you probably want the things in the graveyard. So I'll play it in mine, but if you're playing the Grave Mother as the commander, I don't think it's going to be as good. Anyway, it gives you the option to put it back anyway. So this is Essence Sliver. This is just the original printing. So there's one in the pre-con as well. It's whenever a sliver deals combat damage, its controller gains that much life. Then we've got Bone Slice Slivers. So this is basically sliver creatures you control have double strike for 3 and a white for a 2/2. That's just the promo printing. There's another printing that's fairly cheap. And we move on to Regal Sliver. So this is one of the new ones. So this is worth looking at. So this is, I'll be trying this out later. So this is 3 and a white for a 3/3. It's sliver creatures you control have. When this creature enters the battlefield, slivers you control get +1/+1 until end of turn if you're the monarch. Otherwise you become the monarch. So that's a nice little one. I mean, the monarch is, well, I don't know. I was playing with the monarch in thing. I feel it's overrated most of the time, and you don't want to be the monarch that often. But like, if you can gain the monarch and it's a way to draw cards, and you have a stable board, and they don't have much of a board, it's not a bad thing. Anyway, it's Regal Sliver. It looks like one of the newer good ones. Then we have Sentinel Sliver. So sliver creatures you control have vigilance, very useful, enables you to attack someone and then either have blockers or be able to do something else or tap them for mana at some point. And then we have, to finish out, we've got Sinew Sliver. This is another sliver buff. It was also played in like Pauper Slivers. So this is 1 and a white for 1/1. It's all slivers get +1/+1. Right, so those are the actual slivers. Now I'll move on to the changelings, when there's some of them. So the most one is Meeboid Changeling. So this is the one. So this is 1 and blue for a 1/1. I'm going to say I don't play that many changelings. You can play others as well if you want, but I only play a couple. Anyway, so this basically counts as a creature of every creature type, so it's a sliver. And it basically does various things. So it taps target creature, gains all creature types until end of turn. And its target creature loses all creature types until end of turn. I don't remember stripping stuff of creature types to ever, to be honest, but it is mainly played because it goes with the commander. So in conjunction with your commander, it basically turns something into a sliver and then steals it, and you get to keep it permanently. Anyway, that's a Meeboid Changeling, one of the best secret slivers in the deck. Then we go on to Realm Walker. So this was a more recent addition. I updated this deck fairly recently. And we say the up-to-date list will be on Moxfield. And when you say I'll keep updating it, if any new improvements go on, it will be on Moxfield anyway. So this is Realm Walker. So this is a changeling as well. So it's a 3 mana 2/3. It's played because it's like card advantage. Sort of. It's basically as he comes in play, choose a creature type. You can look at the top card of your library at any time, and you can cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top of the library. So it's like a future sight kind of effect for creatures, and just a good card in general. And it was from Kaldheim, I believe. And then we got another one, which is, this is the new one, a Titan. And when you say I also did my pack opening Titan's stream for Hearthstone, this looks like one of the things will be more at home in that set. And it's this Titan of Injara, I believe is how you pronounce it, for 4 blue for a 6/6. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. It's this chosen type in addition to other types. It's also an illusion. So when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may draw a card for each other creature you control that shares a creature type with it. And if you do, draw a card. And these are optional triggers as well. So it's just a way to refuel your hand. Okay, so those are those cards. Those are the creatures. We'll move on to the spells. There's not very many. So you say this is a creature-based deck. There's not very many spells. You don't need very many. You're creature-based. You want most of the stuff you can tutor for is a creature off the commander, and the rest are things to help with it. So we're going to play a couple of Wraths. So we're going to play Garrix Wake. The reason why we play Garrix Wake is because it's one-sided. We're a creature-based deck, and if we're losing most of our side of the board, we don't want to play the other Wraths. There's some other ones we'll show you in a minute. So Garrix Wake is 9 mana. This is from M14. I think I've probably got another spare copy somewhere. This is proxy. Anyway, it destroys all creatures you control. You don't control all planeswalkers, which is worth bearing in mind as planeswalkers can be quite prevalent. And instead, the planeswalker deck was one of the other ones they did in the series, as well as the Eldrazi one and the Enchantress kind of one. Then we go Psychonic Rift. Yeah, that's just a proxy. They've also but in mind, some of these cards have gone down in price quite a lot recently due to them being reprinted in Commander Masters. I'll be looking to pick up some more Rifts at some point. I've got quite a few, but like they're nearly in every blue deck. Well, 95% of all of them. And this is Psychonic Rift. You know what Psychonic Rift does. Kindred Dominance. So this one's worth being run. So this is basically choose a creature type, destroy creatures that aren't the chosen type for a 7 mana sorcery. So you keep your board and they'll lose everything or most of it. And then we've got Patriots Bidding, so it's a 5 mana sorcery. It was from Onslaught originally. So each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creature cards of type chosen this way from graveyard to play. Now, it's worth bearing in mind, if you're playing the Grave Mother, that card probably isn't as good because you might want to leave the things in the graveyard for the Grave Mother to bring them back with Encore. So you might want to not do it. But you've got the option. So I don't think it's as good in that kind of style of deck as it would be if you're playing one of mine. I use it as a recursion tool, whereas if you're playing the Grave Mother, your commander's like a recursion tool as such. And then in that you might, if you're playing the Grave Mother, you probably want more kind of like style of effects to put them into the graveyard and reanimate them. You can combine it with a kind of reanimator kind of style of deck as well. Anyway, we will move on to the enchantments. They're not very many. Okay, we've got the enchantments. So these are the combo pieces. So we're going to play Mana Echoes. So this is 2 red for an enchantment. It was from Onslaught originally. So it's whenever a creature comes into play, you add 1 colourless to your mana pool for each creature you control that shares a creature type with it. So basically, in conjunction with your commander, this basically generates infinite colourless mana because you can pay to make a sliver. Yeah, you can make infinite colorless mana because you can make infinite colorless mana. If you add in another piece into this loop, you can play it with a mana sliver in play. You can. Oh, I'm not very good at explaining it. Sorry about that. I'll try and explain it better. Yeah, basically, combined with the commander, this generates infinite colorless mana, and then basically you have to add in another piece to get the stuff. Okay, so then I go with Intruder Alarm. So this is creatures you do not untap during their controller's untap step. And whenever a creature comes into play, untap all creatures. So basically this card, in conjunction with, if you have a mana dork in play, any of the green slivers that tap for mana, you can use this to generate infinite coloured mana. And you can basically use it, and then you can tutor for your entire deck, and you can put all the slivers into play as long as you have a haste enabler on the table, and then you'll probably win in that turn as you basically make as many slivers as you need to. Right, so that's that. Then we got some so this is Descendants Path, 2 and a green of enchantment. It's the beginning of your upkeep. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card that shares a creature type with a creature you control, you may cast a spell without paying its mana. Otherwise, put it on the bottom of the library, but that's just good value. Then we go Mirari's Wake. It's the quintessential mana doubler, and it gives your creatures +1/+1, and it doubles your mana. Then we go Rhythm of the Wild. 1 of red and a green. For creatures, spells you control can't be countered, and its non-token creatures you control have Riot, so they enter with either haste or a +1/+1 counter. Right, so then we move on to the mana rocks, or some of them are mana rocks and the other stuff. So we don't really play that many mana rocks in the deck. The Precon has more. It also has land searching, but like I don't really think you need them. We've got Soul Ring, quintessential commander card. Then we have protection for the commander. We've got Swiftfoot Boots. We got Lightning Greaves, and we got the Chromatic Lantern, nearly essential in all 5 colour decks. Basically gives your land tap for mana of any colour, and then it also taps for mana. And we've got Urza's Incubator, so this reduces your, this is your proxy one. I mean, you said there's, I think there's, it was reprinted in one of the, in the artifact slot in the Dominaria thing as well. So these are probably not that bad to pick up now. So it's a 3 mana artifact. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures, spells of the chosen type cost 2 less to cast. Right, and we've got the land to finish out with. So as I say, with the land, you basically, if you don't have the land, the other thing, I'll try and give you some alternatives. So basically, you're just looking for the right ratio of coming to play tapped and untapped lands. So basically, you're looking at lands that basically, if they come in tapped, they basically, you really want them to generate like 3+ colours of mana because they're so slow that they want them to go. Anyway, we'll start with the 5 colour lands and work it through. So this is the first one, this being Sliver Hive. So this is a land that taps for 1 mana of 1 colours. It can also tap for 1 mana of any colour to spend only to cast a sliver. So it's basically, it taps for multiple colours most of the time. And it also taps 5 and a tap to put a 1/1 sliver into play. That's really slow though, and you can only activate it if you control a sliver. Then we go Command Tower, Quintessential. We've got Path of Ancestry. So it's basically a 5 colour land. This one does enter the battlefield tapped, but I think it's worth it. It basically is like scrying. The scry effect's really good. So it adds 1 mana of any colour in your commander's colour identity. And if you use it to cast a creature spell that shares a colour type with your commander, you scry 1. So that's really useful. Then we've got Cavern of Souls. Useful if you're playing against heavy counter-based thing. If you don't have it, I wouldn't worry about it particularly. They've got like the Mana Confluence. City of Brass, its older brother. Right, so now we'll move on. So Shocklands, so we've got a full set of these. If you don't have them... Oh, like, if you have the original jewels, play the original jewels by all means. I mean, I have some of them, but, like, not enough to do all of them. Anyway, we'll go to the original Shocklands. So you pick your printing. I prefer the old one, so that's being Stomping Ground. Hallowed Fountain. Blood Crypt. There's a full set of them in there. It's Godless Shrine, Sacred Foundry. I've got a mix and match of the old ones and the new ones. I've got like a thing. It would take me ages to find all of them in the matching sets. Watery Grave, Breeding Pool, Steam Vents, Overgrown Tomb, and Temple Garden. So those are all the Shocklands. So we'll go through to the next one. So now we've got what were they called, the lands that originate for battle bonds, so the whatever they call them, the multiplayer lands. So we've got those. If you don't have these ones, I suggest the ones that are the buddy lands that originated from things like they're called buddy lands. They come into play tapped unless you control a land of the things like the green-white one is Sun Petal Grove and stuff like that. So that thing, so we've got these ones, and see if you have the other ones, play the other ones. If you don't have these ones are they're down in price. Bountiful Promenade, green-white multiplayer land. Morphic Pool, blue-black land. Sea of Clouds, blue-white buddy. These are the original ones anyway. They're newer ones as well, but I'm only playing these. You've only got so many land slots. Spire Garden, red-green. And to finish with Luxury Suite, black-red body. Okay, so now we're going to have a full cycle of fetch lands. I mean, you say there's not really a good replacement. You can play the other ones that only search for land types, but like I don't really think you want to do that. I mean, say if you... The land is the hardest bit in the deck, though, to play, because because you're playing 5 colours, you're trying to get the right ratios of various things, and it's quite difficult to work out. And you said there are apps and stuff that can work out the mana bases for you around what you have as well. So I recommend either trying like Moxfield or one of the other apps will do it for you. Okay, so we go full cycle of fetches. So we've got Marsh Flats, Scalding Tarn, Verdant Catacombs, Arid Mesa, Misty Rainforest, Foothills, Bloodstained Mire, Windswept Heave, Polluted Delta, Flooded Strand. So then we've got a cycle. We're going to have the cycle of triomes. And say if you don't have the triomes, I recommend the lands that actually come in the deck. They have this cycle. Some of those. They're also the same as a triome. They tap for 3 colours of mana. They're not necessarily the same colours of combination as the triomes because they originate from. Was it the set where Abzan is? When like Sea Rhino. Oh, it's Khans of Tarkir they originate from. So they originate from Khan's block. Anyway, you say these ones are the ones that tap for mana of 3 colours. They also have cycle. Those ones don't have the tap for 3 colour. No, they do tap for 3 colours, but they don't have the basic. They don't have the basic land, so you can't find them with a fetch land. And they don't have a cycle as well, so they're quite a downgrade, but those are the ones they give you in the precon. So basically, what I recommend if you have the precon, the first thing you should probably upgrade is the land basis to start with, because I feel it's what Wizards give you. They're not going to give you everything optimized. The deck seems good, reasonable. The land is not quite. So we'll do the triomes. I've got full. These are original triomes, though. You can use the newer ones if you've got them, but it's just trying to get the right ratios. Ragurin triome, one of my only foil ones. This one's quite pretty. These are all I like the full art ones. So this is Savvy Triome, Zagoth Triome, and Indarfa Triome, and to Ketra Triome to finish. That one's not the thing one. It's the only non-matching one I've got, but I've got another set in other decks. Right. Alright, that was the Slivers deck for you. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. I mean, hopefully you're enjoying Commander Masters and Lord of the Rings. I mean, I'm looking forward to trying this deck. I will be trying it later today with the new cards that I've put into it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate you watching. And the channel is keeping on growing. We've had quite a few new subscribers recently. And before I go, big up to my boy Anthony at Red Man of Madness. If you like what I'm doing, he's also another small YouTuber and one person I know in person. He's doing pack opening videos. He's also selling the cards related to his eBay store. Anyway, I'll link Red Man of Madness in the description so I can link to his. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the content, like, comment and subscribe. And we say 90+% of my viewers aren't subscribed. The dog isn't with us today. Sophie's not with us as well, but like it might be with us in the future. Anyway, I'm not sure what deck I'm going to feature next month, but I'm also probably going to do. There'll be the new set Wilds of Eldraine coming out soon, so that will be another pack opening video for sure in that. And when you say I might do some gameplay videos, it will probably be me playing Arena. It will be even me drafting on Arena or playing Historic Brawl, I think, will be what we would do. Anyway, thanks very much. See you again next month. Thanks very much. Bye.